There are a lot of Corrie fans out there, but few are as dedicated to the street as my guest today, Andy Steele, who not only boasts an extensive collection of Corrie memorabilia, but also runs a Facebook group with over 40,000 followers and was a guide at the Coronation Street tour, where he earned himself the nickname The Coracle. Andy, thank you for joining me on the podcast today.
Hiya.
How you doing?
I'm not bad.
Good. So, tell me a bit about yourself and your Corrie obsession. How long have you been a Corrie fan?
As long as I can remember, but I know the first episode that I properly remember watching is April 1997 when Don Brennan drove Alma into the canal. That's the first major episode that I actually properly remember watching. And then when the Richard Hillman storyline kicked off, that's when I became properly hooked.
Oh, right. That's interesting you say that about Alma in the canal, because, I mean, are you watching it on ITV3 at the moment as well, the repeats?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because that's been on recently, and I know that I started watching mid-90s myself, and I don't know exactly when I started watching it, but that particular episode was one that really stood out to me, and when I was watching it on the repeats recently, I was like, I definitely remember watching that at the time. It was a good one, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. You all like going in that canal, though.
So how did you get into it? Did your family watch Corrie, or did you just, was it a flicking over to it one thing, or what?
My mum watches it, so she watched it then, and then must have just sat down, watched it, and then from then on, that was it.
Yeah. What sort of thing was it about the show that hooked you into it?
I don't know. Like I say, it was mainly the Richard Hillman storyline that got me starting the obsession with it. But I think I know a lot of people say that the Richard Hillman storyline was the one that got them properly into it because it was so big.
Yeah.
And after that, I started looking at the history of it, watching clips on YouTube, anything that I could find, reading up, collecting stuff, and it's just grown and grown and grown.
Yeah, I mean that Richard Hillman storyline was amazing, wasn't it? I mean that was Gemma, the co-host on the podcast. When I first was getting her into Coronation Street, that was when we were at university together, so the early 2000s, and that was the storyline that was running as well. And when she looks back, she says that's one of the first things that she remembers about the show.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and I've met Brian Capron, and he's just such a nice guy as well, totally different.
Is he? Yeah, I bet. So, who are some of your favourite Corrie characters of all time then?
Elsie Tanner is my favourite of all time.
Go on, why? What's so great about Elsie?
It's the acting as well as no else, because Pat Phoenix to me is just. I can't not take my eyes off her when I'm watching her. Because I'm a big fan of old Hollywood, and to me, she's like old Hollywood when you watch her.
I totally agree.
In today's Corrie, it's Carla, and there was an interview done for 6 years, one of those TV specials, and she said that she was told by Tony Warren that she's today's Pat Phoenix. And went, you know what, that's spot on. To me, she's the best actress.
What a compliment.
She really is. I think, she can't put a foot wrong in my eyes.
There was also Denise was also a bit of a kind of an Elsie figure, wasn't she, in the mid-90s? Denise Osborne.
Yeah, there's always the suffering woman, the bad blokes. I mean, you can't get more bad relationships than Gail, but
I think that Carla is more the siren sort of character, like Elsie was, than Gail, maybe.
Definitely.
And you say Carla's your favourite character at the moment, is she?
Oh yeah, what King's just incredible.
What do you think about what's going on with her and Peter at the moment?
Oh, Chris Gascoigne. Oh my God, wow. I mean, other night when we were having a seizure and just trying to get it together. Oh yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Do you think that Carla and Peter should stay together, or does she need to give him the heave-ho?
I think it's one of those where they need each other, but they know something could come along. Either Peter will stray again, or Carla will do something stupid. I mean, obviously, other night she had that say in hyphenated commas business meeting with that bloke. So who knows what's going to happen there?
Yeah. What about stories then? We've talked about your favourite characters. I mean, you say the Richard Hillman story was the one that got you into it. Is that is that your remain your favourite story, or have there been other ones that you've got into even more since then?
So Richard Hillman definitely. Storylines. Again, I love the old episodes. I love them. And there was one, again, getting back to Pat Phoenix. It wasn't a storyline as such, like a 15-minute scene, but it was just her pouring her heart out in front of Mike. She'd been on a night out the night before, and a fella picked her up and asked her to go to his room because she thought, she was on the streets, basically.
Yeah.
A worker on the streets. And the next episode, I think it's on YouTube somewhere, from 1978. He just pours it out, and oh my God, if you want to know about acting, just watch her. It's unbelievable.
Oh, she was incredible.
I like when they kind of come to the front again. I know with everything going on, they can't have many at the minute, but I like it when, Rita, Ken, Gail, Audrey, the legends do have a big storyline. I like that because it kind of takes us back to the glory days. Oh,
yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Ken's been brilliant recently, I think, in the Peter storyline. He just consistently, knocks it out of the park.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm really glad you said that about Elsie as well, because we started watching some of the older episodes. We got the DVD box sets last year, and she was definitely one of the characters that stood out to us as being wow. And we'd read so much about her before, but never really seen very much of her on screen. But like you said, we couldn't take our eyes off her. She had some amazing scenes, and we loved Dennis Tanner as well. There was a lovely little family unit that they had at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. And I've got Pat Phoenix's autobiographies, and this Pat herself went through the mill as much as Elsie, so I think much of Pat was in Elsie itself, and much of the drama, the upset, because she's been through it herself.
Yeah, I know, because Gemma was reading some of that last year. Actually, what's it called? All My Burning Bridges was one of them, I think.
You've got All My Burning Bridges and Love, Curiosity, Freckles and Doubt.
Yeah, so Gemma was reading me extracts out of that sort of at various points throughout last summer, and it was you're right, she certainly had her own dramas, didn't she, throughout that life.
And on BritBox at the minute, there's it's actually Denise Black playing her. And Sue Johnston, the Pat Phoenix kind of and Tony Booth love story. That's on BritBox.
Yeah, I know, and we need to get BritBox. We haven't got a subscription at the moment, but I think when we get to the end of our little DVD journey that we're going through at the moment, we might subscribe to BritBox. And I saw that was on there. It's worth watching, is it? Cool. Yeah. I will have a look at that when we eventually get it. So, you say you've watched quite a lot of the old Corries now. Is it? I mean, when did you start that? Was it fairly early on into your Corrie watching that you thought, oh, there's 40 years of this, let's go back, or has it just been more recent that you've delved into the archives?
I think when I got the job as a tour guide at Corrie, that's when I started watching the old ones again, and then a friend of mine, Jess's, because they repeat the old episodes on Granada Plus.
Yeah.
And I got them transferred. So I think from 76 until like mid-90s, I got every single one.
Really?
So it's like, whoa, okay, I'm happy.
So what? You just got them on a hard drive or something, or discs?
Yeah.
That is pretty. And have you watched them all?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, at what point then did you realise that this love of Corrie had become an obsession? Because it certainly seems to me that that's what it is now.
I don't know. I mean, especially with the 60s building up, I just kept getting more things that I haven't got, if I could, reading more and writing about it a little bit. And I don't know, just something about it. I once said to someone that no matter who you are, if you put a big group of people in the same room, like from, say, I was 7 when I started watching it, so from 7 to 70, at some point, even if you've only watched 10 minutes, you have watched Corrie. And the only other thing I can think of kind of similar is every single person has their own set of Blue Peter presenters. And every single person at some point has watched Corrie.
Yeah.
So, everyone has a time when they remember watching it. They may not say, oh, I don't know, but you say, oh, do you remember that? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I don't want to admit it, And I go, oh yeah, I remember that. Don't tell me it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, I mean, I've seen some pictures of your room in your house recently because of this, not unsubstantial Corrie merch collection that you've got. You were even in the papers around the 60th because of that. So, tell me a bit about your collection. I really want to know about that, where you got it from, what you got in there.
I've had a bit of a throw around. So some's in boxes now, but I've got jigsaws, books, plates. The piece of a front door.
Front door.
Honestly, when I worked at the car, we had to redo some of the front edge of the doors. People knocking on them, scratching them, and so on.
Yeah.
And my boss went, "Got something for you." I went, "Right, okay." Said, "Do you want that?" I went, "You what?" Said, "Do you want that?" And it's the frontage of Jack and Vera's front door.
That is amazing. I mean, that's the ultimate Corrie, bit of merch. Well, it's not merch, it's a bit of memorabilia. Wow.
And I've got a sign on my wall. I've got the flying ducks. So I've got obviously Pat Phoenix's both books. I've actually got Tony Warren's first book as well, which is very rare.
Oh, really?
I was in a Sharple's father. Yeah, I've got that.
So where do you get all this stuff from? Obviously, your door came from your job as the tour guide. Have you had to have the rest been off of eBay or from contacts or what?
eBay, different sites. If something pops up, say in a charity shop or anything like that, I say, I haven't got that, so I'll get it. I've had. At one point I had to do a list because I didn't want to get buying duplicates. I thought, okay, I got 3 of the same book now. I don't need that. Because if I get what I had, I've 3 of the same book somewhere.
Yeah.
But I've got to be careful not to get rid of the ones that are signed because I've got a couple that are signed as well.
Yes, yeah, you don't want to get rid of the wrong one there, do you? So what would you say was the most precious item in your collection? Is it that door?
That or Pat Phoenix's autograph, which I've got in the frame.
Yeah, I can see why that would be special.
I've got a jigsaw from 1963 as well.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Is it a completed jigsaw? Have you put it togetger and kept it like that, or is it all jumbled in its box?
No, it was still in the packets. I haven't took it out.
Oh, I see. Okay, mint in box.
Yeah.
You must have spent quite a lot of money on all this over the years. Do you ever set yourself limits, or has there ever been anything where you've been like, no, I can't afford that?
Some things I've missed out on because obviously couldn't afford it at the time.
Yeah.
Or the annoying thing which with eBay, obviously you put a bid in. Oh, you've been outbid at the last minute and you've got 30 seconds to put in no!
Yeah, I know what that's like. I mean, we were having a look at the Beck Gilroy collection when that was up on eBay a couple of months ago, and we that was a bit too much for us. But even then, we were just we put in a few bids and then getting outbid and give up on that then.
I've got a bracelet won by Betledge anyway, so I had a look, but I was same as you. I was like, nah, can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, what do your family think about all this that you got?
Obviously, my mum watches it still, but what is it? Why, Mum? I just couldn't tell you. I honestly, if people ask me, I can't explain it. Dare I say it as that defiable X factor? Dare I say it? But there's just it's one of those things you can't explain. I mean, some people are obsessed over certain films and they can't explain why they love that film so much.
Yeah.
So the same with Corrie.
Yeah.
Like people might be obsessed with a certain artist or book or whatever like that. So you just that thing you can't explain.
Yeah. So are you just planning to keep on building this collection until you run out of space for it? Do you think could you be coming up close?
Yeah.
Oh, good luck with that.
I put some stuff in storage boxes just to keep them intact or just protected.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've just got to make sure I haven't got that so I can get it.
Well, if you got your lists of what you've got, you'll. I'm sure it's very well catalogued. Yeah. So tell me about this tour guide job then, because you mentioned it a little bit already. How did that all come about, and when were you? When was it your job?
Started in 2014, and what it was, I used to do a volunteer radio show I used to do like a soapbox in between, like all the soap news and things like that.
Yeah.
And then looking on digital Spy for entertainment news, and then it popped up Corey to start doing tours. I'm like, whoa, what's that? So I emailed ITV, I emailed every single person I could possibly think of to try and find out what was going on. And then the process was I had to have a interview with a few of the now ex-colleagues, and then it was an audition and interview first. And the first day as well, we got took onto the street. I was like, we're going on the street? What? That was crazy. And then obviously got the job, and I was there from start to finish until New Year's Eve 2015 when it shut.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was best job I've ever had.
So remind me, was that the Key Street set, the old one?
Yeah.
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 So do you think, did your would you say it was your knowledge and choreo obsession that got you the job more, or your presenting skills, or a bit of both?
Probably knowledge, because every like difficult question or anything like that, I would get, Andy, who's so and so, who was so and so married to?
Yeah.
I remember one occasion where one of my colleagues was outside in the street, and I was walking up, and someone said, "Oh, where did Dina Sharples live?" And Andy, right, yeah, okay. I just started spewing the history of Dina Sharples, and I thought her eyes were going to fall out of the sockets. Like, how do you know this stuff? Like, what is going on?
And this is where your nickname came from, is it?
Yeah, because I kept going about, Ina's husband, her daughter.
So they called you the Coracle.
Oh dear. Yeah, just a little bit.
So what did you enjoy most about being a tour guide then?
Obviously meeting some of the stars that came, which was ace. Meeting people from all over the world, and it literally was all over the world.
Was it?
Canada, Australia. A guy from Australia became one of my colleagues as well. New Zealand, which we had to be careful, because I don't know where they are now, but at the time, about 18 months, 2 years behind.
Oh, okay.
We had Hayley's coffin on display, and they had no idea that Hayley had died.
Oh, so you had to be careful with that one. So at the beginning of the tour, at the beginning of each tour, did you have to kind of check out where everyone was from and what they knew to avoid these spoilers then?
Yeah, we did ask where people were from. I was in New Zealand, like, just go on, there might be a few. We had a montage of moments as well during the tour.
Yeah.
There might be some moments on there that you might not have seen yet, so just pre-warn.
I'm sure they were expecting it.
Mainly.
Yeah. But did you like
that mainly though, meeting people?
Yeah, of course. Did you have a script that you had to stick to?
Yeah, but then we could, I won't say go off it, but interpret it, our own way. Or if there was time, I'd throw in another fact or a different thing.
Yeah.
Because we had to stick to a schedule to make sure all tours went on time and things like that.
Yeah,
so we had a script, but then if we were, some days it was quiet, like with cold weather or anything like that. So if there wasn't a tour afterwards, then we could take longer and give them more, more of this, more of that, and so on.
Yeah.
Because he started off in the green room where obviously they all sat. Something called the Black Box, which we called it, but that was where the montage was. Carla's, Gale's, Rover's, Underworld, Martha's Barge, where kind of the affair.
Yes.
Duckworth's, and then later the cabin. And some props and awards, production gallery, and then through to the entrance of the bistro, out onto the street to the theme music.
Yeah, because the doors open at the bistro, don't you? It must have been great to see the reactions of all the guests every time to seeing the street.
Yeah, and then we had some people. Oh my God! I think it was on my tour, but this is one story I'll never forget. There was a lady who came who had the biggest Cat Slater type heels on.
Yeah.
The doors opened. There's Corey. And why do there have to be cobbles? I've got these heels on. I thought, do you know who you are?
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Like those pull carts. Have you seen Matilda?
Yeah.
That cart he's pulling with all the books in. I car like that, but bigger, and a woman had her kids in that. Not a pram, in that. So they were set up like two meerkats, like looking up where... Honestly, I will never forget that.
That's hilarious. Did you ever... Was there anyone ever that came on the tour who knew more about Corrie than you? Or at least thought they did, perhaps?
We had some massive fans, yeah.
Yeah.
I never came across, like, oh, that's wrong or anything like that.
That's good.
But we had some huge fans that came, yeah. Some people came... There was a couple, for a couple or for a mother and son, I can't remember, who came... a lot of times, like over 20 times maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
To be fair, that would have been me if I wasn't looking at.
How many tours do you think you actually did in total over the time it was on?
Oh my god.
How many a day was it?
It depends what shift you're on. So if you're on a full shift, you did about maybe 4 or 5 tours, something like that.
Yeah.
So I couldn't. Definitely into the thousands, I think.
Wow.
Because we did a lot. It was just, honestly, I can't think of a job that I'll have again that's going to be as good, if not, it was, amazing. It really,
Is it still able to keep your enthusiasm for it up after all those tours? That's just goes to show how good it was.
Oh, yeah, it really was. Some days, especially with the weather, was like, oh, I couldn't manage to, obviously for the rain. But in a way, so a few of us said this, that the rain kind of made it more authentic in a way, because it's cobbles, back streets, so it kind of made it more, give you more of that feel, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course, yeah. That's nice way of looking at it. I mean,
one day it was pouring down, and I mean pouring, it was like Jumanji, it was pouring.
Grin and bear it. I mean, you also had a bit of snow as well, didn't you, at some point? 'Cause you did like a Christmas themed tour.
Oh, fake snow! Oh my god! Before we took them out onto the cobbles, we had a button for the theme tune and a button for the snow. So a button pressed the fake snow, but if it was raining at the same time, it looked like someone just had a bath on the cobbles. It was, oh god, yeah, and that was a nightmare walking through if it did that.
I bet. Did it make a nice change to have a Christmas themed set at least?
Oh yeah. And all the decorations were from the set. The proper set designers came in and dressed it, and it was really, really good. Yeah. And also doing the script change for like the feature Christmas storylines. Yeah. In the talk, so we talk about Christmas moments. The little montage change for Christmas. And then we did street tours, like, oh, in this house such and such, that house such and such, and then changed it up for the Halloween or something like that.
How did the Halloween one work? Because I went to the Christmas one and the normal one, but I didn't ever go to the Halloween tour. Was that pretty fun?
Well, the first Halloween, I actually ended up being off because I had an injury, so I couldn't do it. But how it worked was we had Richard Hillman in night time. Yeah. And then the street tours that we started doing, we just mentioned about all the villains. So Richard Hillman, Alan Bradley, Evil Maya, who burned the corner shop down. Yeah. We just changed it up just for Halloween. And obviously Richard Hillman came.
Yeah, Brian Capron was there, wasn't he? Yeah, that all sounds cool. I mean, talking of Brian Capron and everyone coming along, how did you meet quite a lot of the cast as part of your job as the tour guide then?
If they came for guest appearances, yeah, and then walking around Manchester, I booked into a few as well, because some of them would have been still in Corrie and they're just in town and like, oh, can I have a picture or autograph? And I did. On the tour, it was Ken Marley, Reg, absolutely nuts.
I bet.
Sherry Houston, Maureen, she came. I didn't meet him, but Jim McDonald came. Yeah. Charlie Lawson. I had Hot Pot in the Rovers with Kevin Kennedy, Kelly Watts. Wow. Which was actually made by the husband of Fizz, because he had a restaurant.
Oh yeah, Chris Parr, yeah, they got the Annie's restaurant.
And he made the hot pot, and it was very, very nice.
Yes. I've had his hot pot as well.
I'm trying to think who else came now. come for an official visit, but one day, all of a sudden, we hear this commotion. What's going on?
Yeah.
And Dave just waltzed in. And there he is, like 6 foot odd, he's really tall.
Yeah.
And he just was like, oh, hey, hello, Dave.
That's so funny. Do you remember who the first person was that you met? You know, the first encounter with a Corrie star.
Yeah, for me it was when I was about, how old was I? About 10 or 11 when I met Liz Dawn.
Oh, nice.
Vera.
Yeah. How did that happen?
She was just opening something where I live, so obviously we all went.
Yeah, of course.
But lovely lady, and then I met Bruce Jones, Les Battersby.
Mm-hmm.
I've met Vicky Entwistle, Janice on a train. Who else was? Annie Cotton, Brooke Vincent.
Yeah.
But the icing on the cake, Tony Warren.
Really? Wow. Where did you meet him?
There was an event for Pride one year, and it was Annie Cotton, Tony Warren, Brooke Vincent, Jonathan Harvey,
yeah,
and a producer who I forget. But they're doing like a question and answer
mm-hmm.
thing, and then there was a break. Tony Warren got up. I thought, I'm not going to get another chance, so I just went up, asked, and yeah, I got a photo with him, and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, a little bit out.
Did you have a chat with him, or was it just a photo and that was it?
A little chat and then photo. It was just, oh yeah, lovely, absolutely lovely.
Oh, that sounds amazing. So let's just before we finish talk about your Corrie Facebook group then. So you've got this Facebook page called Classic Coronation Street, which is dedicated, it seems like, mostly to the first 50 years of the show. So tell me about how that got started.
I was a fan of it first. I followed it and then messaged Graham, who's now a mate of mine, about it. Oh, I think I'm a big Corrie fan. I got some photos. I'm going to upload them and so on. Made me an admin, and it's just built and built and built. And for the 6 years, I was knackered. I did a biography every single day for 60 years, 60 biographies of characters.
Whoa, that's a lot of typing.
Example, Ken, when he was born, who was married and so on. Yeah. And I like doing those a lot because, especially Ken and Elsie and Ina, there's a lot of history pre-1960 that, unless you get certain books that have it, you don't know about. So like, many people won't know that actually the very first face that Ken ever saw was Ina Sharples because she delivered him.
He was born at the beginning of World War II, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. And Ina Sharples that delivered him, so that's cool. The face of Ian is the first face that he ever saw.
Yeah. So when you did these bios, did a lot of it just, do you remember a lot of it, or are you looking in the books and the internet and everything to get it?
It depends on the characters. Certain characters I know a lot about anyway, like obviously Elsie, I know a lot because she's my favourite. Yeah. And then, it was double checking, right, that was that. I knew the years, but I thought I'll double check just to be safe. Yeah. And some of them I could include stories because I'm friends on Facebook with a lass called Kate Gibson, who was Kathy Jones, as she was known in the 70s. She played Trisha Hopkins.
Oh, yeah.
I've got her on Facebook, so I could message her a lot, asking for like backstage stories.
Oh, nice.
Of casts that she worked with. She told me about things about Ray Langton, about Albert Tatlock. Yeah. Really funny stories, some of them, absolutely. And one about Margot Bryant, Minnie Colwell. Yeah, really good stories.
Are you able to share any?
One of them, I knew a little bit about this, but she kind of, it must have happened to a lot of people. Jack Howarth, Albert Tatlock, loved his donuts, and he loved cream cakes and things like that. Yeah. And one time he put some in his pocket, and Neville Buswell, who was Ray Langton, liked to joke around. So, right, ta-ra, Jack, see you tomorrow. And he patted him on his pocket where the cakes were. So all these cakes just crumbling in his pocket. And And I've heard it's true, but I thought, is it true? And she said, yeah, that Margot Bryant, Minnie Caldwell had a mouth like a sailor.
Is it true, is it? Because I've heard this as well.
Yeah, she said it is true. Off screen, she had a mouth like a sailor.
And she seems all sweetness and light on Corrie as well, doesn't she?
Yeah, but then off screen, apparently, she did like to let rip and tell some certain things which I can't say.
That's so funny. So with this group, have you found that the ITV3 repeats that have been happening, in recent years have helped give it a boost? Is there a lot of chat about what's going on in 97, I guess, at the moment?
Yes and no, because I put mainly old pictures up, because I've got a vast collection of pictures on my computer.
Yeah.
Because I put a disclaimer on saying we're nothing to do with the, it's just a fan page, things like that. But if you want to chat about what's going on at the moment, fair enough, I can tell you,
Yeah.
But there's nothing to do with it, just a fan page. But in recent times, I've just been doing more 60s, 70s, because I know a lot of people like them, like that era a lot, because it brings back more memories for them, because it's actually growing up.
Yeah, sure. So it's still a learning experience for you as well, I guess. Are you going to not stop until you've seen every single episode? Is that an aim?
If only I could. I just wish there was like a subscription like BritBox where they put every episode on. I really wish they would.
Yeah.
That would be icing on the cake if I could watch every single one. I mean, I've seen a lot, but I wish I could watch every single one, especially the 60s. Especially the 60s.
Because we've been watching through the DVD box sets recently, and we do have a hankering to get back and see more of the 60s. It felt like a really special era.
Well, I found with certain 60s episodes as well, dare I mention the opposition, EastEnders, but I've noticed with certain 60s ones, there's more of a, dare I say, duff moments on the 60s episodes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no, and you can't because it isn't there. I found there's more of cliffhanger ones in the 60s.
Interesting.
And there's one episode where, I don't know if it's on the box set, Ina, everyone wondering where Ina is, and she's collapsed in the mission.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And obviously it ends with the camera zooming down on Ina collapsed. And then, oh my God, what's it? I can't see the next one. You know what I mean? There's a lot of them.
Yeah, totally. I know the exact episode you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, good times. Well, listen, it's been lovely speaking to you today, Andy. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. I've really enjoyed hearing about, the behind-the-scenes stuff on your tour, and I wish you the very best of luck with continuing your collection, and maybe one day we'll be able to get all the episodes to watch as well.
Fingers crossed. Thanks a lot.
No worries. Thank you again. Have a good evening.
You too. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Bye-bye.